We're driving a 2020 Ford Escape Hybrid. Coming up, we're going to test the one feature that always disappoints me. But first, information explosion. Sweetie, for $500, can you tell me the first model year that Ford introduced a hybrid Escape?
If I had greater automotive knowledge, I would have a logical guess, but instead, I'm going to say 2003.
That is a better guess than I would have expected. The correct answer was 2005. That was actually very close. I would have expected you to go much more recent because being ahead of the game, 2005 is really early to introduce a hybrid. And you can tell that they introduced a hybrid that early because every once in a while when you go to New York, you'll get an old Ford Escape hybrid taxi. Those things are still running.
Oh, wow.
Interior. All right, you got an eye for aesthetic. What do you think of the interior of the Ford Escape?
I like the shape of everything. I love the wood.
You do?
Yes.
Sorry, that was a very... What? You realize that's not wood, right?
Well, it's like good enough for me and my terrible, terrible eyes and apparently fingers.
Cool, okay. Hey, if you like it, good on you. This is the burden of having excellent vision. These beautiful blue 2020 vision eyes.
I feel really torn when I'm here because I'm getting a lot of cues that this is an expensive car because it's the higher trim, like the Bang & Olufsen audio system. There's some nice tactile feel here. Then I get here.
Yeah, what don't you like?
This looks like it should be metal. Maybe that's why it's so bothersome, but it really reads as very cheap.
Yeah, you don't like something that is pretending to be something it's not. For example, if they made a bunch of trim that looked like wood, but it didn't really look like wood.
That might be a problem if you could actually see and experience the world.
It really depends on which of your senses is most functional. So it's a little bit of a grab bag here. And as you move rearward, material quality gets a little bit cheaper, which is typical. But yeah, I would say this is a fine sort of middle of the road effort. Nothing too outrageous. I do know that you dislike an infotainment system just sort of tacked on. How do you feel about this region?
It doesn't bother me probably because we just did the Mazda CX-30. I do like that it's within reach and I can see it very well.
That's true. I can poke it with my desperate pokey finger. One of the big advantages of the Ford Escape is interior packaging and space. So I fit really well in all of the seats, including the middle rear position, and the second row seats slide and recline, which is a really great bit of function because then you can apportion space fore and aft. So if you've got like a massive 24-pack of toilet paper, and maybe you're having guests over on chili night and you need even more toilet paper than we normally get, then you can slide those seats forward and make room for more cargo space. Conversely, if you have people in the back, you can slide them back and there's a little extra space and you can get to a comfortable position. One of the things I hate is when you get into a compact SUV and it's got just a fixed and oftentimes two vertical seat back. So the packaging is actually quite nice. We should talk about family friendliness. You would have a rear-facing car seat, then you could slide that seat back a little bit, give it a little bit more clearance. So I like that adjustability. And then you've got the lower anchors and the tethers. It's all pretty accessible stuff. Did you have any issue putting the car seat in?
I did not.
No issue putting in the car seat. Wow. And then also cargo space. There's plenty of room back there for all these sundries that you'd have when you have a new child. Can I tell you how nice it is to have a child that doesn't require a bunch of gear? Oh, it's the best.
It's really nice.
Just give her something to draw on and she'll just take care of herself. Modern day kids basically raise themselves. What do we think? Family friendly?
Of course. Yay!
Family friendly. Rear window test. Armrest test. Okay, I'm here at a 9 and 3. Elbows aren't touching the armrest. Going down to an 8 and 4. Elbows still not touching the armrest. If I want to put my elbows on the armrest and steer, I have to use these dainty fingers again. Doot, 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 doot. And look at the inside here. Put your arm on that stitch.
Oh.
The stitch is not so much a problem, but the hard plastic underneath, ooh, yeah. Outboard is a little bit squishier, but that's going to be a problem. I'm going to give that half an elbow here, and I'm going to give it an elbow down over on the inside. Ooh. Yeah. Before moving on, though, have you subscribed to our channel? If you haven't, please subscribe to Micah Drives. At 50,000 subs, I'm going to tell you a terrible dark secret about my hair. Style! Do you have any thoughts about the exterior styling of the Ford Escape?
I actually really love the exterior styling. I love the bulbous curves on the side.
Ah. Oh, do you like bulbous curves? Again, I love when you describe a design because it's almost never what they would have described in the meeting about how the thing's supposed to look. I would say that the Ford Escape looks much smoother, more aerodynamic than previous Escapes. The original Escape hybrid was very blocky, and then as time has gone on, I think the wind has smoothed its aesthetic. So there's something to the aerodynamic qualities of a smooth Escape. I'm a little bit torn on it. I think it could read as either tasteful and understated or potentially a little bit boring depending on how you come at it. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments. If you guys would like to see what I'm driving and flying between YouTube videos or what Heavy is doing in the park again, those squirrels have been angered yet again. Got on the wrong side. Follow us on Instagram. Future Heavy has put our handles down here, and you can send me questions too. I have a lot of conversations with people on Instagram, and some of them are not of a sexual nature. In motion! And if it wasn't clear before going to the graphic, I am not the one instigating those conversations.
It was not clear.
I'm very respectful. Hey, we're in motion just slightly. This is a great opportunity to talk about the brakes in the Ford Escape Hybrid. I was able to come to a smooth stop there, but I can tell you from experience that the Escape Hybrid's brakes require a very delicate touch.
Is that why they have the brake coach?
The brake coach is to tell you how to get as much power back from decel as possible. It's using regen braking to harness some of that kinetic energy and turn it back into electricity. But when you're doing that and then you're also blending friction brakes, it can be hard to do so smoothly. However, I've noted that in the regular non-hybrid Escape, the brakes are still kind of touchy. So if you drive an Escape, you're just going to have to really train your braking foot.
I wish we had money for a brake foot training montage.
The other big detail with any hybrid powertrain is the handoff between electric propulsion and the gasoline engine. In fact, I'm just going to go into this little nondescript subdivision right over here, and let's do a few slow speed accelerative tests as I ironically get hit by a Toyota Prius. Very good. Let's see how this departs from a stop. So you can feel the gasoline engine kick in, but at a moderate pace, you don't feel too much of that awkwardness. There's a little bit, almost too much immediacy from the electric motors.
Really?
Yeah, almost just just a touch too assertive. The Escape Hybrid is a vehicle that rewards a delicate touch. Oh, good. Here is our requisite windowless white van. This time it's a Chevy. Hello, people. Oof. And needless full throttle acceleration. Whee!
That was quick enough that it made me a little bit nauseous.
Yeah, but everything makes you a little bit nauseous. We were a little too still. Tweety got nauseous. This is one of those things where if you spend a lot of time really thinking about what's happening, you can find all sorts of little peculiarities and things you might want to blame. But if you're just driving the car to get around, a lot of the stuff just fades into the backdrop. For example, the electronic continuously variable transmission. Just like with the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, which we drove recently, and if you haven't seen that review, please check it out. This is the same kind of functionality. There's not a big band between variable size pulleys transmitting power. It's actually a combination of electric output and gasoline engine creating infinite ratios. It's complicated and I don't want to explain it without a graph. All you need to know is that there's a little bit of delay there as I tipped into it. I'm going to stop talking about the powertrain and the brakes. I am going to complain about the steering. Let's make a zippy left. Oh gosh. You know, there was a time when my least favorite steering feel came from Hyundai and Kia. Those days are gone. This is among the sort of least communicative, rubberiest steering wheels I've used in a very long time. I would say that the steering is a notable hit against the Escape's fun factor. If you care about fun factor, note that. If you don't care about fun factor, we'll just move right along.
Where are we going?
We're going to go to a coffee shop, and we're going to get you a steamer and Mommy and Daddy coffee. Are you a unicorn?
Yeah, I'm a unicorn.
Okay.
And you can be the guy that's near Elsa and the unicorn.
I'm the guy who's near Anna and Elsa and the unicorn. You know, there are no small roles, only small actors. Where ride quality is concerned, it's fine. I would say unremarkable. These are pretty smooth roads, but one thing I have noticed, though, is that driving on the freeway, there is a tendency to wander back and forth with the grooves in the road. So that requires a little bit more correction than you want, and that can be a little fatiguing. I mean, fatiguing, that's really dependent on what you're doing. For example, I just flew my helicopter back from Arizona. That was fatiguing.
Might be a little more fatiguing.
Yeah, making minor adjustments while in air-conditioned comfort, based on my anchor point, not so bad. Overall, if you just want to get around, the Escape Hybrid is totally fine. Emotion factor. Are you feeling any emotion? And if so, from where?
I was surprised how likable I found this vehicle.
Yeah?
I haven't driven it, but just looking at it, it's cute.
Okay.
And I really like cute.
So you're feeling some emotion from the cuteness.
Yes.
Which would probably make up for the lack of emotion in the steering and handling departments.
Totally.
Okay.
For me,
So,
yes.
are you an aesthete? Do you appreciate good looks? Then maybe the emotion factor is strong. If you're feeling emotionally drawn to the Ford Escape, click the listing link from Kelley Blue Book in the description and go buy an Escape of your own and then make your own video. Put a link in the comment section and I'll check it out. Or not, I can't watch everything. No, I'll probably watch it.
You specifically asked them to make you a video and then you're not even going to watch it?
Fine, I'll watch the video. Remarks! As teased, the one feature that always disappoints me is the foot-activated tailgate. You think it's going to be amazing, kick a foot up and the door's just going to open, and it never does. Let's see how the Ford Escape performs. You did it! High five! It almost never works the first time out. Hey. The Ford Escape Hybrid has some nice technology in it. You've got the 8-inch touchscreen. I think the interface is elemental, but it's functional. And I like the fact that Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard. There's also USB A and C ports. One other interesting detail is the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. So it's large and vivid and reconfigurable, and that's awesome. When starting up the vehicle, on several occasions, this has started up way later than the vehicle itself. So I'm starting driving, and this is still beginning to warm up. Hey, gauge cluster, you want to go for a drive? Oh, well. It's like me in the morning.
Oh, man.
I know. But while you're waiting, there is a beautiful landscape to look at. Those are all the places you can go and know how fast you're getting there. If only that thing would start up more quickly. Big thumbs up to Ford for including Copilot 360, which includes a bunch of safety features like blind spot warning, which isn't often standard, but I love that they include that. Lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, all standard. One optional feature is adaptive cruise control. I like adaptive cruise control when driving home from work at Kelley Blue Book. If you haven't subscribed to Kelley Blue Book's channel, follow me over there, check it out. I was just cruising along, and then the Ford Escape Hybrid thought a car in an adjacent lane was in front of us and applied the brakes, and it freaked me the hell out. You want the safety there, but you know, the real trick to safety equipment is having it activate only when it's needed. Let me ask you, you have a little bit more of a skittish nature. Mm-hmm. If you were on the freeway and the adaptive cruise control suddenly decided that it needed to brake, would that freak you out?
It would really freak me out.
Yeah. Might you do something stupid? Oh, okay, stupid's not the right word.
Hey, when a ladder fell out right in front of me, I avoided that. Maybe I
yeah.
wouldn't react as poorly as you think.
Okay. Well,
In here, it would be crazy, though.
okay, you know what I have to do now? Get you behind the wheel.
Oh, no.
Sabotage the equipment and see what you do.
Crash that like button if you don't want me to die in a Ford Escape.
That's well stated. Let's go around the corner and just for funsies, needless full throttle acceleration. Whee! Yeah, that's pretty good punch. When in doubt, throttle it out.
That's the second time you said it?
That means one more time and you have to make your graphic. This particular Ford Escape Hybrid has a self-parking feature. Let's go find a spot and see if the technology works.
I don't like that if. Now I'm feeling skittish. Can I get out of the car and take our child with us?
Yeah, just shoulder roll dramatically out for safety. Well, I'm waiting to make a U-turn here. The rotary knob for the transmission, some people like it, some people don't. I've grown used to it. It's sort of innocuous one way or another, so I'm on board with it. And it's nicely knurled.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. There's like the Cylon throat singers are in the back as we back up the vehicle.
But that's
Here,
useful.
listen. We are the Cylons that will warn you of the reversing. Amen. Let's watch the car park itself. I push this button down here, and then it's going to tell us when it finds a spot. This is a reasonably tight spot. Now, release steering wheel, shift to neutral.
What happens when there's a car approaching you?
Hold park button. Okay, so it automatically puts itself.
I do not like that it starts it even though there's a car coming at you.
That seems super tight. Oh boy. I feel like this is the kind of operation that with experience, you'll feel more confident. But the first time through, like there's cars going by, that's really interesting. So the way it used to work is you used to have to operate the brake and the gas, and then it would just steer itself. Now, you just keep holding down that button, and it automatically does the gear changes, the brake, and the accelerator while you're parking. And I think it did a pretty great job getting us into this spot.
It did.
Yeah. Hold that thought. I'm going to go take a picture. You're in charge while I'm gone, sweetie.
Oh.
I don't want to be in charge.
Okay, you're in charge while I'm gone.
Yay!
I think that auto park functionality is pretty cool, and it keeps getting better. Okay, let's talk about money just a little bit. The SE Sport Hybrid costs about $1,200 more than the regular SE. You're thinking, well, $1,200. What's the payback period on that? If you look at fueleconomy.gov, based on fuel economy figures, you'll save about $300 a year driving the hybrid. That means the payback period is only 4 years. And since most people own their cars for 3 to 5 years, that's a workable payback period. We're getting to the point where owning a hybrid is no longer stupid financially. You can actually make that money back with fuel savings. So yeah, if you're gonna buy a Ford Escape and you don't mind the little wonky brake action and the occasional feeling that the gasoline engine is kicking in, buy the hybrid. If you are interested in the Escape Hybrid, I'll add that there's also a plug-in hybrid that offers more than 30 miles of pure electric range, a recharge from 0 to full in only about 2.5 hours on a level 2 charger like you'd have at home, so that's pretty quick turnaround, and I think it's like 9 more horsepower, so I think 209 total system horsepower, but it only comes in front-wheel drive, so if you want all-wheel drive, you can go to...
A little harsh, bro.
Hey, I'm not saying it, Ford's saying it. Since we reviewed the RAV4 Hybrid not that long ago, if you had to go RAV4 Hybrid or Escape Hybrid, which would you choose?
Ooh. I feel like they're comparable enough that I would really have to get down to pricing.
Yeah, you definitely want to compare price, and then you'd also want to compare how adorable it looks, because I know the sweetie perspective. What do you think? Would you go with the RAV4 Hybrid or the Escape Hybrid? And are there any remarks we've missed? Tell us in the comments. Synopsis! We sound like a cult. In thinking about the synopsis of the Ford Escape Hybrid, you think it's cute, it's efficient, and it's also flexible. To me, it's a yoga instructor on a bicycle. Do you have a better synopsis? Comment section, yada, yada, yada. Hey guys, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and like it. And if you don't, maybe we'll see you somewhere down the road when we make better videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. The more subscriptions we have, the cooler things we can drive. And it's the fuel that makes our channel burn in the good way, not in the I have to see a doctor way. That's the note we end on. Oh God, I'm so bad at this.
They're not even going to want your high five. We should just end it there.
Why is she eating it that way?